Welcome to the English with Kirsty podcast from www.englishwithkirsty.com. Here I'll be sharing with you tips, information and other learning resources so that you can improve your business English. Hi and welcome to episode 48 of the English with Kirsty podcast, and 48 means we're nearly at 50. So I mentioned this last week, but if anyone's listening to this before the 20th of June 2016, if you have a story that you could add to my learners celebrating success stories about something that made you feel happy or proud as a language learner, it would be really good to find out about your story. So there is a form for it on the show notes page for this episode, which is www.englishwithkirsty.com/podcast/episode 48. And if you go on there, you can find all the other links and things that I'm talking about today, as well as the place where you can send me your celebrating success story. So today we're going to be talking about staying accountable and how, when you want to learn a language, it's important to have goals, but also to know how you're going to go about meeting those goals, because, you know, big goals are great, and I'm going to talk about those in a minute, but you also need a way to make sure that you can break those goals down into smaller chunks, manageable chunks, but something that you can achieve in a day or a week, rather than thinking, I must do this huge task and never getting around to it. Because sometimes it can feel like that. You set yourself a big goal for language learning, but it's really hard to meet that goal because you don't have the plan about how you're going to get there. And having the plan is the key to getting there, because then you can measure those smaller steps and know that you're getting closer to reaching the goal that you've set for yourself. So first of all, you need to have goals to start with, and I talked about this in the book, but the goals need to be SMART goals, and this S-M-A-R-T, people use these letters to stand for different things, but for the purposes of this, they need to be specific. So the S is specific. You want to know what you want to achieve, not just, to be able to speak good English. Well, how are you going to measure that? So it needs to be specific, exactly what you want to do. Measurable, otherwise you won't know whether you've met your goal or not if you can't find some way of measuring it, whether it's you're doing a task or being able to understand something or being able to write something. Whatever it is, you need to be able to measure it. Achievable, because if you set yourself an unachievable goal, then you're setting yourself up to fail. It's got to be something you can do, not like to speak like a native speaker in a week. It's not possible, even though some people may try to tell you that it is and charge you lots of money for it. But it's got to be achievable, something that you can realistically do in the time frame that you set yourself. Relevant, don't just look and see what other people are doing. If you don't want to learn about a specific type of English, well, don't do it. If it's not useful for you, it's not, you won't have the motivation to keep doing it. So it needs to be relevant for you, for what you need English for, and for your learning style, for whatever you want to achieve, and time bound, because otherwise it's, I'll do it next week, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it soon when I have time. You know, set yourself a time by which point you want to have this done, so that it doesn't drag on for ages. If you achieve this, then you can move on to something else. So that's the goals, but goals alone aren't enough, because that's where you're going, but you need to find out how you're going to get there and make a plan for how you're going to get there. So this made me think about one of my previous jobs. We had a huge delivery action plan, which was a document. It wasn't a spreadsheet before I started, it was when I left, because it was easier to measure and look at. But it was a document that showed all the things that we needed to do, and who was going to do them, and when they were going to do them, and how you'd be able to measure if they had been done. And so that's a big organisation. That did help to track the progress of individual tasks and parts of projects. But when you're learning languages, it's not a big organisation, it's just all about you. But there's no reason why this same idea can't be used. And this is going to sound, this will appeal more to people who like numbers or spreadsheets, but also to people who like games, because there's a competitive element to it. And when I was having an intensive Turkish learning course, I developed a spreadsheet like this, and it had the tasks and the days of the week. So if I completed a language learning task on a certain day, I could add that to the spreadsheet, put a 1 in the box, and that added to my total for the day and then for the week. If I did a task that I particularly disliked, like speaking, then I got 2 points for that, because to encourage me to do the task that I least like. So, but everyone can decide how they do it. But if you want to have a look at this spreadsheet that I used, I'm going to offer a download on the show notes page, so you can download it. It will total your points. It's quite a simple spreadsheet, but it's got the week set out, the days, and then the tasks. Obviously, the tasks may not all be relevant for you, so you can change the tasks depending on what tasks you do for language learning. So there are some examples in there, but you can of course change them to fit with what you do. And it's just a way of keeping track of what you're doing to make sure that you do the things that you want to do, because it's okay saying, oh, I want to do 3 reading tasks this week, and keep doing something else because it's more fun. And then at the end of the week, if you do it on a spreadsheet like this, you can see, oh, actually I haven't done any reading. I wanted to, but I just didn't manage it. And then the next week you can think, okay, well, I need to get my act together and do some reading. So I found it was a good way to keep an overview of the activities that I'd done. And it was also quite motivating, because the idea of, oh, can I get more points than yesterday? Can this week be as good as last week? Obviously, you have to be honest with the points, because if you just keep putting points in even though you don't deserve them, well, you're only cheating yourself. So you've got to be honest about it. But it's a way to look at the whole range of activities rather than just working through a book or something. You can think, okay, there are plenty of activities that can contribute to your language learning for the 4 skills: reading, writing, listening and speaking. So this is just a way for people who like this kind of thing to keep track of them. And also, if you don't want it to be that complicated, you can just say, okay, Monday is vocabulary day, Tuesday is speaking day, Wednesday is writing day. You can break it down like that. I liked the system with the spreadsheet because it gave me more flexibility, but if you think that looks too complicated or too annoying, then you can always devise your own system. But I think whatever you're going to do, then it's good to have a way to make sure that you break down the big language goals into smaller chunks. And as I've said before, language learning can be quite a lonely business, so a good thing to do is also to find a friend to do it with, or to join a Facebook group. We've got the Facebook group. I'll add the link to that on the show notes page. So the English with Kirsty Facebook group, or find other learners that you know and talk to them, or build up your own personal learning network. And I've got some information about personal learning networks. I will add the link to that as well on the show notes page. Developing your own network of people. They don't have to know each other. They don't have to be friends or in the same group. They're just different people that you can communicate with and who can help you to develop your language skills, because then other people around you can be quite a motivational force when you want to learn. So that's all I wanted to share with you today. Everything I've talked about, the links will be on the show notes page, which is www.englishwithkirsty.com/podcast/episode 48. So there you can request a copy of the spreadsheet to customize for yourself. You can give me your celebrating success story. You can join the Facebook group, or you can read more about the personal learning network. Or you can find out more about the book, because in the book there is a chapter on organising your learning and being accountable as well. So I hope this is useful, and I look forward to hearing other people's ideas, because everybody does things differently. And if you've got another way to how you make sure that you're going to meet your goals and how you organise your learning and plan, then it would be good to hear that as well. So have a good week and have fun learning English. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the English with Kirsty podcast. If you have any questions or comments, my email address is kirsty@englishwithkirsty.com, or you can go to www.englishwithkirsty.com/podcast where you'll find information about the individual episodes.